First things first, guys. How are you?
We're awesome.
We're great. Yeah, we're doing very well.
You played here in Amsterdam yesterday. How did it go?
It was amazing. We played at Milkleg, and the crowd we couldn't have like invented a more perfect, awesome, alive audience.
Because, well, at the conception of this band, it is still very young. So was there a vision of how the live performances would be?
I think the vision for the live performance came naturally. It was just, we all vibed really well together when we first started playing shows. And it was just high energy. Even when it was kind of a slower song, we were still somewhat doing something that was moving around. So we feed off of the crowd, and right when we walk out and we hear those screams and we see those hands up in the air, that's when we're just going to level 10.
Well, you're from very different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Cole, you've played in Semi-Precious Weapons, obviously the Jonas Brothers. Joe, is there one band or musician that Cole has shown you in the past year that has had an influence on you?
I mean, I've always been, to be honest, I loved Semi-Precious Weapons. Okay. I mean, I still do. And I used to listen to music quite a bit, so I was inspired by their stuff. And we always play each other new music, whether if it's weird stuff that we find online that day or if it's something that inspired us when we were younger. So the list is pretty long. I think we were always kind of listening to stuff that we think each other would like, or maybe it's an idea for a cover idea we would do on tour. So I think just pushing the boundaries.
And vice versa, is it the same? Joe, does Joe show you some stuff?
Yeah, Joe has shown me a lot of cool new music. You know, he's been a DJ for a very long time as well, and he's shown me a lot of new kind of funky electronic music that I hadn't heard. Like a guy named Luke Million, and what was the album that you and Dom Guido told me about? Lewis. Oh. Yeah, he's shown me a lot of my favorite new music.
Okay. Because, well, did your tastes, were they very separate before the band?
No, I think Joe and I both, and everyone in the band, Jack and Ginju as well, we grew up as kind of rock and roll kids, and being in someone's garage, trying to write a song and trying to play in front of our friends in school. So I think we have that kind of rock and roll beginning in common, and then we all got very much into funk and soul and disco and pretty much every other kind of music. When we started realizing that this was our life's passion and our life's work, and we couldn't do anything else besides music. So I think, although we're from like really different places and different aesthetics sometimes in our career, musically we understand each other.
Looking back, do you know why this chemistry worked so well, or why there was so much chemistry?
Yeah, I think it was 1 in a million, to be honest. I think you can be in a room with different musicians and it could just not be right, or 6 months from then you're just pulling your hair out like, why did we do this? And this has been, I think, a great case of just perfect timing and the right people together. We genuinely vibe well. I think we all like the same kind of music, like Cole said, and when it comes down to the performing, we all connect really well. I mean, there's so many opportunity for somebody to be hit in the head by an instrument or just a vibe not be right, but for us, this band, it feels really good.
And am I right in saying that, Cole, you were the last one to join the band, and Joe, you were looking for a bass player?
Yeah, well, we had all the correct instruments, but we just didn't have that the whole foundation of a bass player. But it was more than just a bass player. We needed somebody that I think could also really help carry this band, and not only creatively, but just be the spirit and the energy that can pick us up when we're kind of in a lull. And I met Cole just not really thinking about being a part of this, just randomly. And we hit it off so quickly, and I was just like grinning from ear to ear. I'm like, I hope this guy would like the idea. So bringing it up to him, it was like, yes. And it was what not speaking for him, but it's what he was looking for as well. I think we all were doing so many different things in our career, and we just still wanted to get back into music in some way. And I think for all of us, it was a perfect scenario.
In that sense, then, it is now the focus for all of you on this band, on this project?
This DNC is our entire life.
Okay.
You know, we wanna be the Rolling Stones in the sense that, you know, there's posters on every wall in the world, and we make as many albums as we can. You know, we see no end to it.
Okay, and then the music. Well, you mentioned those influences, and so did you discuss beforehand kind of what direction you would take the music in, or did it happen naturally?
It was already kind of getting started. I was in the studio working and creating, and didn't really know what it was going to become. And I had a writer's block, and Cape by the Ocean was created by a misunderstanding of a lyric of a song. And we just said, okay, this is it, and this is the vibe. And once that started, it was those phone calls, calling Jinju and Jack and saying, hey, I know you guys are doing other small jobs or touring with other artists, like, it's go time. And it just started happening really quickly.
You say you had writer's block. Looking back at that period, how long was that period? Did you struggle for a while?
Yeah, I would say, look, some people it can be a week, some people it can be years. I would say when I was working with these particular producers, it was like a few weeks. But when you're looking at it from the big perspective, it took me probably 2-3 years to fine tune what, like, the vibe I wanted to go in. I created music that I'm really proud of with other producers, but I just don't think it was right for this project or this band. It was just something a little bit more moody than what DNCE really is, and we're enjoying this ride. So to get up on stage and pretend like we're upset all the time, I don't think it would work very well.
Yeah. So was there a clear vision at the outset that we wanted to have this project be upbeat, to be optimistic?
Yeah, I think we had that conversation early on. We said, I made music that was emotional and moody, and it just didn't really fit who I am right now in my life. And then we said, okay, let's just try to write something that's fun. And one day we were all goofing off in the studio, and like, I don't know what happened. After a few drinks, like laughing, like we were all kind of like, let's just try to write for fun, not for the project or not for the band. And it just happened. And we like looked at each other 10 minutes later and said, I think we wrote the song. And that was when Cake by the Ocean was created.
And so that was kind of the catalyst for what would come after.
Yeah, it definitely kind of set the mold for the rest of the EP that's out right now. And right in the middle of the EP, then Cole joined the band, and we were complete. And we were like, okay, now like we can get the vision board together of what we want the tour to look like and the rest of the album. And we're still creating the album, so we're almost done. But I'd say touring has been a huge help for us too. You realize what songs really connect with an audience, and even you personally, what do you like to play live, and what really speaks to you from your heart.
How quickly did the word album kind of pop up, so to say? Was there immediately an idea of let's do an album, and that's what we're working towards?
I think, you know, anyone who's a musician or a band, you never plan on anything but, you know, making as much music as you can. So I think the second you walk into a studio and start writing a song, you envision some great album, and we're almost done with the album, and it's gonna be great, I think.
Do you have an album title yet?
Not yet. We're trying to come up with one. I think it probably either would be a song title or something completely different than has nothing to do with the album. We're very much like that. Even for our EP, our band name, they're all things obviously that are misspelled, but they're also they represent us. They're just kind of a little bit different.
Well, and about the band name, I read somewhere that it kind of arose out of not necessarily needing to be perfect, that you can enjoy life without it having to be perfect. And especially for people who've been in the public eye, and for you in particular, Joe, is it easy to kind of let that self-consciousness go?
You're specifically talking about the band name and stuff?
No, but just that general sense of not being too self-conscious about things and how people perceive you. And
yeah, I think you'll drive yourself crazy if you focus on the perception of people or what people are thinking about you, whether if it's in the media or the music you're creating. I think if you feel good about it and you feel like it represents you the best and you're happy and screw it, everything's fine. Because I think if you obsess over it, it just will drive you crazy at the end of the day. You're just sitting there trying to make the same kind of music, and we're just trying to create something a little different.
So was there at any point a worry about people's expectations of the type of music you would make?
I think so. I think I went through the different roller coasters. I made a solo project for a short-lived period of time that had a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and we stayed in the States that pretty much a lot of people were working on it at once, and I was kind of listening to a lot of different outside opinions. And although I'm very proud of the music that I made back then, I still would say that I went through that thinking of, okay,
Sure.
like afterwards I was like, this is cool, but it's not really on the mark of me, and like just me and a writer, or me and the band creating something that I think represents where we're at in our lives, and take it or leave it. And Cake by the Ocean, it's the best example. It's a wacky song, and it represents who we are as a band. We're just a bunch of crazy kids having fun.
Finally then, does this feel like a new beginning? Because for everybody in the band, it is a new band. So is it kind of like having to start over?
I think the magical thing about DNCE is it's like nothing ever happened before, almost. It feels more like you're in high school and you get a guitar, and your best friends get a guitar, and then you just like go in the garage and make something. So it doesn't feel like we've been through everything we went through before, because it's just so exciting for us. I think that's the innocent kind of energy of what we're doing, and the spirit behind it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.